Thank you from Belgium, Coach. Best fighter wisdom content out there. What is, if any, in your opinion, the best martial arts philosophy work? That's from home. That's from Ludens. Thank you, Ludens. That's a very sweet comment. Thank you. I appreciate it. Look, number one is consistency. Get the right instructor. Be consistent. You guys ever see like those YouTube videos where they're like, it's like, watch this guy, amazing worker. So there'll be a guy flipping a pizza and he's like spinning it on his finger behind his back and he's doing back. Like it's incredible. Like I saw a video of a guy, he was stalking watermelons and he's like catching the watermelon on it. Somebody's lobbing in the watermelon. He'll catch it on his arms like an NBA player. He spins it on his hand and then he puts it up. I saw a guy stalking barrels. He's literally taking these barrels, like he's spinning them and they're landing perfectly and he's chucking them on top of one another. It's like, wow. How on earth did these guys do that? Guess what? They've been doing that job for 10 years. When the new guy comes in, he can't do it. But they're doing it every day. They're doing it for 8 hours a day. Consistency is number one. Now, when I say consistency is number one, it's not the only thing. There's more than consistency. But that's number one. Look how these regular Joes doing something every day, they got really, really good at it. They're black belts in whatever they do. I saw a guy like chopping tomatoes. Like, ta, 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 ta. He's not even looking. He's like, ta, 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 ta. He's like, I'm like, he's going to lose a finger. No, this guy is not losing a finger. He's like, chop it, chop it, chop it. Next tomato. Ta, 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 ta. What's the secret? He's done it regularly every day for 8 hours a day. He's in the kitchen chopping. I've seen factory line workers. They're on the line. They're like so fast. They're like doing this one thing all day long. What's the secret? They started off slow. They did it every day. They didn't stop. That's how they earned their cheddar. Boom. All of a sudden, they're like computers. That is the heart of excellence. Skill. You do it every day, all day. You are what you repeatedly do, as Aristotle says. After that, to go to the next level, because there's another level. I want to even get better than that because, yeah, there's a lot of guys out there doing jiu-jitsu every day. Go to the gym with a goal. I'm going to the gym every day. I'm consistent because it's hard to get good at jiu-jitsu when you do it just 2-3 times a week. Guys, there's good and then there's like world-class level. Go into the gym with a goal. Today, I'm trying to pass the guard. When I pass the guy's guards, I'm going to stabilize it. I'm going to go I'm going to let the guy shrimp back out of guard, out of side control. I'm going to let him put me back in guard. And I'm going to try to pass it again. You give yourself a quota, like I spoke about earlier in the show. I'm not going to leave here till I've passed the guard 20 times or 10 times. You give yourself a quota. If your goal is to get good at passing the guard, that's what you do. Now, if your goal is to get good at counterpunching, you're going to go in and do counterpunch drills. And on sparring day, you're going to say to yourself, look, my goal is to counterpunch, let's say, at least 4 counterpunches in the round, every round. And then you could see if you met that quota. If you didn't, consider lowering it. Consider finding a quota that you could reach regularly and then up it. But go in the practice room with a goal. What's my goal today? Well, today I'm working on guard retention. I'm going to make sure that nobody passes my guard today. I'm trying to work on it. When somebody does pass your guard, which is inevitable, you're going to talk to your instructor. I was in this position. I got passed. Then you're going to drill the answer. You're going to try to find a resource that has that answer. And then all of a sudden, you're going to start working. You're going to start working until, look, I don't get passed. At least the guy tried 10 moves on me. Like, I don't get passed with one move. Like, sometimes, people ask me, am I ready for purple belt? So one thing I'll do is I'll test their guard. If I pass their guard in 1 or 2 moves, I'm not giving them a purple belt. I would say a purple belt, I should need at least 5 to 10 moves to pass your guard. That's a good purple belt. Like, he's good, that guy. He's not easy to pass. There are other criterias, but you got to give yourself a goal. And you got to have a fitness goal. You got to have a fitness goal. You got to have a jiu-jitsu goal. You got to have a boxing goal. Like, what is the goal? Now your practices are really going to yield dividends. Slam Coach, I'm sure you are aware, however, you are an inspiration to the Arab Muslim world. Any thoughts on how MMA could help elevate our part of the world? Much love. That's from A. Dali. Thank you very much. You're a gentleman, a scholar. I really appreciate that. I think martial arts is so good for developing a human being. I think it's amazing. Kids should do martial arts. The Arabs should definitely do martial arts. Guys, most successful civilizations, I would say actually, I think all of them. I can't even think of one successful civilization that didn't have their youth wrestle. Name me one civilization that didn't have a combat sport, I should say, as in their curriculum for children. Like, I can't think of one. The Egyptians wrestled. The Hindus wrestled. The Arabs used to wrestle. The Iranians wrestled. The Persians. I mean, the Greeks, of course. I mean, the Romans, Greco-Roman, Roman wrestling, of course. The Mongols were wrestlers. Like, I mean, just it builds a mental toughness. I wish that when I was young, my parents made me wrestle. Like, I didn't wrestle when I was young. I wrestled in my adulthood. It's phenomenal. It is phenomenal. Because here's the thing: when your children don't wrestle, and you just train them academically, they think they know more than they do. They're on their keyboards and they're tip-tapping away and they're telling people this and that and their philosophies are this and that, but they're not tested. Their philosophies are not tested. You know, sometimes people tell me like, oh, I have this philosophy, I have this idea. Okay, well, show me evidence that it works out there in the real world. Like, that's theory. Theory is one thing. It makes so much sense in our minds. Then we go and we try to do it. Like, you know, sometimes I give my fighters advice and then I go trying to follow my advice. I'm like, oh, I asked you to do this and that. Let me put the gloves on and go try it. Man, it's not always that easy. I realized, you know, in my head it made sense. When I put the gloves on, it didn't make so much sense. So as a trainer, it makes you a lot better. Why? Because if you're in the field, you know what. Because I've met trainers where they really get negative on their student, and it's because, oh, my student doesn't understand. I'm telling him to do this and he's not doing it. But I was like, that trainer doesn't really have a fight background. He's never laced up the gloves. He's never got on the mats. In his mind, he saw a video and he thinks it works that easily. Believe me, some moves work for certain fighters and they don't work for others, and nobody knows why. Really, nobody knows why sometimes. I'm not saying it's always the case, but there are sometimes maneuvers that one fighter can do, and we all try to copy him, and none of us can get it right. None of us can do it the way he does it. It doesn't work for us. You know, like I got one student, Mansour Barnoui. He won $1 million tournament. He fought Islam Makhachev back in the day. I thought he beat Islam. Go watch that fight. It's on YouTube. It was in Russia. Khabib was in his corner. I thought Barnoui won that fight. You guys tell me, watch that fight. Barnoui has one of the best half-guard sweeps I've ever seen. Now, if you ask him who taught you it, he's going to tell you Coach Zahabi taught it to me. But I'll tell you something. The maneuver he does, I know it very well. I learned it from Ryan Hall. I learned it from John Danaher. I know exactly how he does it. But I can't do it like he does. It's the length of his legs. It's I don't know. Believe me, I've filmed him doing it. I've watched him do it. I've drilled it with him. I've had him do it to me. I felt it. Like, I can't generate that power, and none of us can. And he can sweep guys. I'm telling you, it's poetry. He swept all the top guys. He swept Gamrot. He's a killer. But I'll tell you something. He's the only one in the practice room who can do it. We can all do it. Well, look, don't get me wrong. We all do. Some people call it the knee lever. Ryan Hall calls it the twist. John Denner calls it the knee lever. We can all do it in the right circumstance. I teach it in my videos. Yes, it's a great move, but I don't do it like him. Him, it's his go-to. He gets caught in half guard. He's looking for it. That's all he needs. That's one of the, I would say, one of the top 5 moves he uses. He's got a network of moves, but they're limited. They're not that, because they're so powerful. He doesn't need anything else. We can't do it. I can't do it. St. Pierre can't do it. Like, all the top knee lever guys, they're good knee levers, but they're not that level. He's got this new level that nobody can do it. Check out type in his name, guys. We call him Tarzan. Barnoui. And Mansour Barnoui. And you guys will be amazed. Half-guard sweeping is incredible. Black belts in Abu Dhabi can't do it the way he does it. I'm telling you, it's that special. Now, I know guys who do that with high crotch or snap down. Like, they just have a freak snap down, freak armbar. Like, it's really incredible, like to be surprised like that, like to meet somebody who has a move that's so good, it's levels above anybody else and other world-class grapplers or fighters that you've never seen anybody do it that way, like that level, that intensity.